Hi there, everyone. Namaste. I'm Jill Loftus of Nuit Astrology. Welcome to your planetary energy forecast for the week of November 7th, 2022. Now, I have to say this week we have our second eclipse. We have a lot of tense energy this week, frankly, and it's white light shields up. You've got to be in your practices. You've got to be steady. You've got to be strong. You got to believe in the larger cycles and not be fearful. All right. Try not to be resonant with the root of anger, I really think, is fear. All right. And so a lot of people are really going to be in their fear body, and therefore they're going to be angry. Right. So don't be resonant with it. Right. If you're not resonant with it, they're vibing this and you're up here vibing this. They can't get you. All right. So let's operate with wisdom and the best possible intentions this week. Mantra practice would be great. All right. On the 7th, we've got the precise Venus in Scorpio square over to Saturn in Aquarius, right? So this is the goddess in a place that she's not very comfortable already. And here comes, the boss, the man, the Saturnian figure, and like really pressuring her. All right. So this could be, low vibe Scorpio type of stuff, power struggles, just these kind of tense battles for power and, information and one-upsmanship, that kind of thing. So and it's still poor Venus, she's still across the sky from Uranus, right? So just be really cautious, be very careful, be careful with your own physical safety, but be also careful with your resources. And if you know where these areas of life are, really look at them and see what symbolically was happening last week, because that same pressure is going to be moving into this week. Now, we've got the Mercury in Scorpio still tangled up with the South Node, right? And right across the sky from the North Node. Uranus backs up to 16 degrees, which is good. It takes it one more degree away from the engagement of the square over to Saturn, which is still hanging out at 18, I believe. Actually, I'm going to double check that. Make sure I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's still at 18. Right. So, but it's going to be moving back. But also those of you with Taurus placements where it's 16 degrees or closer to that, this is the second pass with Uranus, right? Because it's retrograde and moving back. Right. So you may see some themes that came up in 2021 that might be reoccurring. All right. So just keep an eye on that. One thing I really do like about this week is November 7th and 8th, there's a nice trine from the Chiron in Aries to Hygeia in Sagittarius. So if you feeling overwhelmed by the world, do some work on yourself and work on ancestral healing. This is such a great time of year to be working on things like that. Maybe research, study, and learn a new technique that might be helpful to you. On the 8th, Election Day in the USA, it is also a lunar eclipse at 16 degrees of Taurus. All right. So those of you with Taurus placements, again, we've got the Uranus is right there, right? They're conjunct, right? It's across the sky from Mercury and Scorpio. So all kinds of problems with communication, all kinds of jam ups. With the Uranus there brings sudden shocking events, sudden shocking issues with technology and electricity, could even bring storms, literal storms. It also, the moon also squares over to that Saturn in Aquarius, right? Remember I just said it's at 18 degrees, but it squares over to that. So, it's really a tense day. Now I have to say, the Venus is in Scorpio too, is still across the sky from this moon. It does sextile over to Neptune in Pisces. And then, that Mercury is right passing through the sun. So slow down. Be very wise on this day. Even if you're not in the United States, you're not tangled up in the election drama and trauma that were going on over here. There still will be events in the world. Eclipse energies are not times to manifest, right? They are not times to cut cords or engage in the normal activities that we would do with a full moon. It is more of a time of just loosening your grip and seeing what's got to go. All right. Something's got to be removed. Something's got to be changed. And you got to see what it is for you. All right. Now, on the 9th, we still have that push-pull, Sun and Mercury over here in Scorpio, across the sky from Uranus. Taurus moon will move on to the later degrees of Taurus and send a nice beam over to Pluto, which might help us clean. It's like maybe like the dustpan to help us start cleaning up the mess. It also sextiles over to the Jupiter in Pisces. Now, Mars in Gemini is retrograde, yes. It's going to back up into a square with Eris, the goddess of discord, on this day. So there could definitely be some issues, especially around women. I would imagine things in Iran would be really heating up then. Now, we've got November 9th, 10th, and 11th. We've got Mercury and the Sun square over to that Saturn Aquarius during that time frame. So, you know, square from the Sun and the Mercury over to Saturn, you know, very negative thinking. But honor it instead of just being like, oh, despair, whatever. Take action. Saturn wants you to work. So do the work, right? Dream the dream, think the thing, have the vision, right? Take action, and Saturn just really respects that. So if you need to, just, you know, don't wallow, don't despair. There's also a really nice, also a really nice trine from the Venus in Scorpio over to the Neptune in Pisces. That little touch of inspiration, maybe maybe ask that day the universe to offer you a sign or a symbol, like whatever that is for you. Maybe it's a bird feather or the, you know, all the digits on the phone lining up in the same numbers, whatever. This reassurance from the universe is that it's going to be okay and that you're loved and supported through this, all right? I think that's a good idea. All right, Mars does square into Neptune still through the end of the month. It's exact on the 18th, but that Mars square to the Neptune, it's getting tighter because it's moving backwards, right? It's like Neptune has Mars in the tractor beam, like pulling it back into the square. So you know, that's something we dealt with last month. It just lends us kind of confusion or delusional behavior, radical rhetoric, and as you can see in the world, that's all been ramping up. All right. Now, on the evening of the 11th, the moon is going to square over to Jupiter. So the 11th, you can mark that as a watch your mouth moon. All right. On the 12th, the Mercury and the Sun, they've been battered, man. They've been battered. And now they're going to trine over to that Neptune in Pisces, right? Just where Venus did. And so, again, maybe there's some inspiration, some ideas. There could be, it's kind of like an inspirational moment, or it could even be you see something or read something, because Neptune rules the media, right? So there could be some just really great ideas in there. So be sure to comb through the crap and find that good stuff. Venus in Scorpio also begins to sextile over to Pluto in Capricorn. Thank goddess, the divine feminine coming through the fire of transformation. That is Scorpio season this year. And then on the 13th, there's like a big, beautiful triangle in the sky. The moon and Lilith are going to come together in Cancer, and they're going to trine over to the South Node, Mercury, Sun, and Venus, which are all in Scorpio. And they're all sending down blessing beams, right? As is that moon Lilith, down to Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces. And so it's kind of like a catch your breath moment. Make sure on November 13th, you're making some love, you're making some art, you're doing your creative writing, get your, canvas out and your paints, like do all those beautiful things. Make sure you express that energy, fulfill that energy, give it a beautiful outlet. All right, we have made it through eclipse season, although I always give the caution. I always have get through the day of the eclipse and I'm like, whoo, and then something comes along, just kicks Jill's ass into, I'm like, So never brag, always be on the lookout. Sometimes these energies can fire a little bit late, right? Especially with the South Node there. But there are also some beneficial flows of energy this week. Tap into those, be prepared, and let's see what the tarot has to say. Hey there, friends. Welcome to your Isis Lotus Tarot spread for the astrology of November 7th, that week, 2022. We get to choose two different ways to kind of allow the outcome to unfold, two different paths to manage the energies. Please do comment below if these are helpful, if you're enjoying the tarot. If you'd like to study tarot, I do have a free tarot course on my website at Nuit Astrology. Planetary.com. Just have to sign up for my newsletter. Okay. All right. So our very first card is the basic influence of the past. So the build up to this week is you're preparing for something. Like you're studying something new, learning a new skill, honing an ability, you know, just kind of like you're at work, right? You're working on something. And you personally are feeling not so great. This is the Ten of Swords. It's that feeling of letdown, of failure, of how things didn't go exactly the way you planned. But that just means that it's just freeing you up for something else. Now, the environment that you're dealing with, here's the happy family card. So you got to deal with like familial stuff, and also just the basics of like having a home, having a life, the structure of your life, right? So that's influencing you, whether it's you want to change that or it's just something that's influencing you in the moment. It's kind of like, you know, yeah, I want to be a backpacker in Europe, but I have a 3-year-old. Like, no, can't do that, right? So, all right. Okay, culmination of the influences. We got the Two of Cups in the house. If you are looking for love, pay attention this week. That is really, there's something perfect for each of us. Whether it's a perfect job, a perfect environment, there's something coming up that's perfect. Key card of the future, 3 of Cups, abundance, reasons to celebrate. This is good, very positive, very positive. So we start out the week maybe with a negative vibe, and then there's something to look forward to. All right, the opposing forces at play, 4 of Swords, which indicates just be ready, but chill out, okay? This is not the no, you can't have it. It's the you just can't do that right now card. And the other side, we've got the 9 of Pentacles. So this very independent female who provides for herself. She makes her own money. She makes her own decisions. She's a very Lilith character, right? And not in like even like a super bold way, but just a independent woman. All right, the key card of the future, the Hierophant. So this is either getting or giving advice. This is doing stuff old school. This is kind of like a, you know, stick with tradition, stick with the way it's been done. And if you're not sure what to do, consult an expert. All right, now let's see what modifies that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so card 9, we've got the Queen of Cups, the healer queen, the emotional intelligence queen. And on the other side, we have the argument card. So some difficulty here, whether it's inner turmoil or arguing with others. Paired with the Queen of Cups, we've got the Ace of Pentacles, starting something new, investing time, energy into something concrete, something you can see, feel, touch, taste, something real. Okay. And with the argument card, we've got Temperance. Okay, this is a card of finding balance, of finding harmony, of, you know, kind of a very modest approach to things, okay? All right, and then we've got our 2 possible solutions. We've got the King of Wands on the one side, so really going for it, taking action. On the other side, the Knight of Pentacles. So this is a desire to do something that you may not have looked into all the way. Just have this kind of like more of a spontaneous approach. Paired with the King of Wands, we've got the 4 of Pentacles, kind of like being conscious, being resourceful, being, you know, very wise with your resources. Don't be spending too much money or energy or running your mouth, right? Paired with the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Ace of Cups. So this card was also prominent. This and the 4 of Pentacles were prominent in last week's spread, so you might want to see how those worked out for you. All right, so the way I see it is, you know, you've got this thing, this opportunity that comes to you this week, all right, from the space of something that didn't work out. And you're very excited about it. And there's 2 different ways to approach this. One, you can just stay in preparation mode, right? maybe consult an expert, tap into your intuition, make the changes, begin to make incremental changes, invest money, time, energy into something. And then you're going to go for it, but you're going to hold back. I mean, the King of Wands energy is very active and initiating, but this Four of Pentacles warns you, don't just be spreading your cash all over. Don't be, telling everybody you're going to do X, Y, and Z where you're not even sure how you're going to make that happen. All right. So slow it down a little bit. And then on the other side, we've got this, this desire to be independent and get those things that bring you independence, right? And so you consult the expert as well, right? Or you are the expert, but then there's an inner conflict, okay? There's a conflict within yourself. You have to be balanced in your approach. You have to be temperate. You have to be moderate. And there's a part of you that's just really anxious and wants to go and do it. But you got to make sure that it really is something that's going to fulfill you in the long run. So really make sure you know what you're getting into so that you're not just focused on, you could be overly focused on money, right? And how much you're going to get when really you need to be a little more focused on how it's going to fill you up. All right. Well, I hope this was useful and helpful. I'll see you next week.